Okay, thanks for your patience. So the majority of the material today came from a 2021 NAMI mood disorder survey. And the main findings of that, let me just go through this. I'm sorry, let me go back one slide. We're going to go over the depression type signs and symptoms. Katrina Gardner is going to share her journey as a person with lived experience. Kathy Weigel, president of NAMI Piedmont, is going to share information about support available. And I'm going to share depression screening tool and other community resources available. So most of the material from this presentation is from a NAMI mood disorder survey in 2021. And their main findings were that despite an overall sentiment of understanding, agreement of mental health has become more of a healthcare priority in recent years, and that many adults have been more open about mental health since the pandemic started. The need to expand access to treatment, educate about mood disorders, reduce stigma, and close gaps within our society to mental health care persists. And as I said before, our main objectives today are to educate about mood disorders and reduce stigma. And personal stories are one great way of doing that. We'll move on to the next slide. We'll introduce ourselves. By the way, I'm Bridget Downey. I'm Programs and Events Manager with the Mental Health Association, and I'm the facilitator today. Been here about 1 year. I also have family and friends with lived experience, so I'm very passionate about mental health. So let's get into mood disorders. Mood disorders is a category of mental health condition, which can include depression, major depression disorder, postpartum, bipolar disorder 1 and 2, and dyspnea. And those are different kind of a spectrum of depressive disorders. It's very common in the US. 1 in 5 adults experience an episode of depression in their lifetime, and more than 7 million adults live with bipolar. Between 3 and 4 million teens experience depression each year. And as a lot of reports have shown lately, that's definitely on the rise. So depression is a medical condition that can cause a persistent feeling of sadness and loss of interest. It can affect how a person feels, thinks, and behaves. And if left untreated, it can lead to suicidal thoughts. It's also known as major depressive disorder. Bipolar disorder is a chronic medical condition causing extreme mood swings with highs and lows. People living with bipolar 1 experience depression and have at least 1 manic episode. People living with bipolar 2 experience depression and hypomania, which is a milder form of mania. So the prevalence in adults, 8.4 of all US adults experience some form of depression. It's higher among adult females, and highest among adults aged 18 to 25, and highest among people with 2 or more races. And here's just a graph to show you a little bit more. In youth, it's 17% of the youth population aged 20 to 17 experience depression. It's highest again among adolescent females, and also highest again of people reporting 2 or more races. So living with a mood disorder. Say, someone in your family or someone you care about, or you yourself is experiencing these symptoms. It's important to identify them and get help, and really reach out when you're feeling this way, so it doesn't progress into something more serious. It's and it's very easy, not easy. It's a condition that's easy to treat, and there's a lot of different treatment options, but we'll get into that more. Some of the signs and symptoms are changing in sleeping habits, feeling excessively sad or low, and feeling excessive worry or fear. Half of those say that having depression symptoms negatively impacts relationships with friends or family, and slightly more than 3 in 5 say that people treat them differently after they learn they've been diagnosed with a mood disorder. Around 3/4 of people say that people around them do not understand. And so these are some of the main things that are very important that we want to address today is these are some of the things that lead to stigma of people not realizing this is kind of a medical condition. It's not just someone being lazy, someone being tired, not getting enough sleep. It's an actual diagnosable medical condition. And there's a lot of misunderstanding around it. So we are honored to have Katrina Gardner here share her story and her personal experience of dealing with depression and the process she took to get help. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing and turn it over to Katrina to share your story.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kate, and I'm really honored to be here and to speak with you all about my journey and how it's affected my life. So April of this year, I had a severe breakdown to the point where I was ready to commit myself to the hospital. I had a lot of stuff going on and building up, and a big fight, misunderstanding with my boyfriend of 4 years just kind of put me into a tailspin. And it was at that point that I was like, you know what, I need help because I can't deal with this on my own. And it was at that point that I found a psychiatrist and I started seeing her. And at first visit, she diagnosed me with PTSD, depression, and anxiety. And even though I'd been seeing a therapist since 2015, I was seeing the therapist because I was going through a divorce and, moving out on my own. So I just had those issues going, but never really sat down and said, okay, this is everything in my life. And, that's affecting me. I thought it was just, I'm going through this terrible time and I just need someone to talk to. So after talking with this therapist, we decided that talking to the psychiatrist, we decided I needed a therapist that specializes in PTSD. I was diagnosed with PTSD due to an event that happened when I was a child. When I was 7 years old, I was sexually assaulted by the father of a friend of mine. And at that time, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell friends. I told nobody. And so I lived with that secret my entire life. And it builds and it feeds. And I feared being alone with, adult males. I feared being alone with, it was, my friend's dad was African American. So I couldn't be anywhere in a vicinity alone with an African American male because I had that in my head that they were all like that. It took me a really long time to qualm that fear. And then, coming back to now, I've opened up to my therapist with every gritty detail of that event. And I think that has helped me to, I don't want to say that I'm over it, but I'm coping with it. It doesn't affect me the way that it did before. I had triggers that I didn't realize. And now those triggers don't cause me to go into this tailspin anymore. So after that happened, I gained a lot of weight. And I think that was a mechanism to, like a safety mechanism, so that if I look a certain way, nobody's going to want to touch me again. And so for me, and I don't know because I can't go back to those days and ask myself, but So, when you gain weight, then other kids make fun of you, they pick on you. I was bullied. So, all of school from elementary school up through high school, I was pretty much what they called a loner. I would sit by myself at lunch and do homework or study. I didn't have a lot of friends. I had a few, but nobody that I would actually hang out with or do a lot of stuff with. Then when I was in my early 20s, was my first, I think, breakdown. I tried to commit suicide. And luckily, some things happened during that time that it didn't actually happen. But I did try. I was ready to be done with my life. And I'm very thankful that that there was an intervention, because today I'm a grandmother, I'm a mother, and I have to stop and look at that and be like, my son wouldn't be here, my grandson wouldn't be here. And so now, and I'm not going to say that I've never had those thoughts again, because I have. But as they come into my head, I think about my son and how I couldn't leave him with those thoughts of, why did my mom do that? Why was my mom selfish? Why couldn't she be here for me? And so when I think about, how bad I might have it at that time and how easy it would be just to die and go away, I think about my son and the effect it would have on him. And then I come back to today and I'm like, I don't need that. So the psychiatrist put me on medication, and it's helped a lot. I've only had one anxiety attack recently, and that was this morning at work. It was very mild, and I knew as soon as it started that I needed to do something. And so I stopped what I was doing. I called the person, that I was working with that was the cause of the anxiety, and we talked it out, and it was fine. So my journey's been a rough one. My mother died in 2013. I got divorced in 2015. Then COVID hit, and then my father passed away during COVID. So I've had a lot of grief that has also been in that mix of the anxiety and the depression. But I have to say that talking about it and sharing my story has helped me a lot, because before I couldn't talk about it. And I think for me, the more I talk about it, the better I feel, the easier it is. And if my story can help just one person, it was worth it. So as of today, I have my psychiatrist, I have my therapist, I go to a support group with NAMI Piedmont, and I have recommended friends and family that I know are struggling or going through something. I'm like, the first and hardest step is to ask for help. But once you do, it just gets easier. And I recommend to everybody, it's okay to see a therapist. It really, really is. I had that fear for the longest time, that because of the stigma of, if you're seeing a psychiatrist or you're on medicine, that people would see me as crazy or, some other things. And, people will say, oh, I wouldn't tell anyone, or, I've been very open with my family, my partner, people at work, because if they see something, see me in a state, then they can recognize, oh, something's wrong. I better talk to her. I better help. There's something I can do to help, rather than somebody coming up and, I'm in a panic, I'm crying, and they don't know why. And then it's an even bigger mess. So I think letting people know what is going on, with you mentally, it not only helps me, but it helps them, because not everybody understands, not everybody knows what mental health issues are and how they affect people.
Thank you, Kate. And yet they're so common. I mean, how many of us can say that, I've felt sad, for more than a few days. And just, I think the important thing is knowing when to get help and, seeking help when you're at that point. And definitely commend you for doing that. And thank you so much for sharing your story. Um, you put together some excellent slides. I don't know if you wanted to go back into detail into anything or if anyone has any questions.
Yeah, I don't have any details, but if anybody has any questions.
I'd just like to also point out that, your first therapist identified you with PTSD, and you had experienced quite a few traumatic experiences. And I think that's something other people can also relate to, especially coming out of the pandemic, is, our lives have been turned upside down. We may, have changed jobs, changed homes, changed relationships. It's had a lot of people rethinking a lot of the purpose around things. So that was definitely relatable. And does anyone else have any questions?
I want to ask Kate to share some of the at home. I know she sees a therapist, psychiatrist, talks with others, but there's other things you do, and there's a big thing you do
Yeah,
to help relieve your anxiety.
Yeah,
Can you share that with us?
Yeah, I crochet. I started crocheting when I was young, and I stopped for years. And then here a couple years ago, I picked it up and started crocheting again. And I am at that point now where if I'm sitting and watching TV or sitting and not doing anything, like my hands have to be busy, and so I will crochet. And at first I was doing it because I wanted to make things for family and stuff. Now I do it more as my therapy. It's a mindless thing, and it helps me to relax. And I find that when I don't crochet, like when I'm at work, I get fidgety. If I'm sitting and listening to something or in a meeting, I fidget with my fingers and my hands and my rings and my necklace, my hair. And I wish I could just sit there and crochet, Of course, it doesn't look good to do that at work, but I find it helps. And then not only that, but like when I finish something and I give it to somebody and I see how happy it makes them, then that makes me feel good inside as well.
I just want you to share that there are things we can do that can help us quell our anxiety in some small ways and all.
Right. And one of the other things, we talked about this in group the other night is, the adult coloring books and stuff. I do have a few of those as well. And, but I find crocheting is more my cup of tea than coloring, because I get very frustrated if I go outside the line and I'm like, oh, I don't like that picture, so crocheting is just easier for me.
Yeah, we come up with lots of ideas in group and all, and I know you're a big part of that and everything.
So Kathy, can you tell us more about NAMI groups and
Yeah, I just want to thank Kate for sharing her journey.
Yes.
It's always extremely courageous to do, and Kate, those stories always help others. They really do. So very good.
Thank you so much, Kate. We really appreciate that.
Yeah. Let's all give her a big hand today. That
Thanks,
aren't
everybody.
muted. You're all muted, but I'm sure you're giving her a big hand.
Thank you.
NAMI Piedmont, I think Brittany's going to put our website in the chat box and everything. Our website is a wealth of information, and it also has a contact space if you would like to contact me and get on our email strand, which is BCC, so nobody will know you're there. And we give updated announcements every 2 weeks. Types of information we give is resource information, updated NAMI Piedmont information, and schedules of our support meetings. Our support meetings are connections, a support meeting for individuals with mental health challenges. We do those online twice a month. We have just started back in person at Fauquier Hospital, and our first one is November 19th. And there is a Hispanic one available through NAMI Prince William, and that's on our website listed. We also have a family support group for family members with loved ones with mental health concerns, and they are also on the website, and they meet in the same ways that the Connections group does. We offer a family-to-family class each March, and we begin advertising February 1st, and you can find out all about that on the website. If you go on the website, we have things called NAMI Now, informative blogs, and if you're feeling depressed or would like to share something, or there's a therapist out there that would like to share information, you can share it on there. We have the calendar for our C Center, Support, Encourage, and Power Center in Culpeper. We always have that monthly calendar on there, and our upcoming info if you're not our announcement site. On the left side, oh my goodness, we have our descriptions of our programs. We have a section for warm and support lines. We also have crisis lines, and they have recently been updated. We have the new 988. That is to take precedence over the 911 number. 988 is a new national 3-digit number that is nationwide. When you call in there, they will immediately give you information in your area after they find out what your crisis need is. On the website, there's a small blurb about it, and there is information that could answer. She's got it up there. Every question you could think of to ask about it. I read through it and I couldn't think of another question to ask about. Thank you, Bridget, for putting that up there. There are mental health links. Children and youth. We're concentrating more on youth now. Child Mind Institute under that link is wonderful. Lots of information. If you go all the way down, that will come under mental health links, Bridget, on the left side. Yeah, if you go in there under mental health links and scroll down to children and youth, Child Mind Institute. Oh my goodness. At the bottom, at the blue part, click on anything down there, youth science, whatever. they will take you to back information they have, but there is everything on there. It's a wealth of information. We're constantly updating the website. Oh, and our new phone stickers. I have one of my peers checking out the numbers. We had these made up right before COVID, but one of the numbers we found out you got on, and it took over a half hour to get any help. So we're going back. The numbers are better now, but these are the stick on your cell phone. This is just a home phone. Heaven help me if I stick it on there and I can't get it off. My husband will have words with me. We are going to give these out when we do our youth programs. We're going to give them out at health fairs, CIT training, wherever we can give it out. If any people related to any programs will like some, we should hopefully have them in about 3 weeks, depending on their delivery service for them. But I think they're very important because you don't have time to get on a website, you know, when you're having the difficulty. So you just turn your phone over and there you go. We're going to have 988. We're going to have a warm line and a warm line for youth. So that's what we plan to have on there. We also have some youth programs. We're excited. Our first Ending the Silence for 9th through 12th grade is happening on the 24th at Wakefield School. We have a 6th through 8th grade program. We're ready to roll up. Well, it's ready to go. Say it out loud. A Wakefield School is interested in that. And soon we're going to begin our Frankie, the NAMI Piedmont Llama program for kindergarten through 5th grade. And always remember, I have to compliment Mental Health of America. They have a wonderful site for finding a great therapist or psychiatrist, and it has a way to match it up with your insurance and your diagnosis. And I always recommend that as a resource. So get on there and everything if you're looking for some help. Any questions? Okay. That's because you're going to get on my website and find everything out I rattled off here.
Thank you, Kathy. I was just actually going to go into the our provider directory. We have one question here. What is the K-5 program called?
The K-5, I'm not sure of the exact name, but we have our Frankie, the NAMI Piedmont Llama, and NAMI Virginia has adopted the llama as its mascot because a llama can carry heavy burdens. Let me get my little llama here. Da-da, here is, and Frankie's about this color. He will have a mental health cape on him. But we are going to go in. We have a costume llama coming in, someone actually in a costume, and we're going to have a llama book that they'll go through with us. And we're just going to, on each level, we're going to have a book on like the kindergarten, 2nd grade level, one on a 3rd, the 4th grade level, and then the 5th grade level. You have to sort of up it a little so you don't insult them. I'm a former teacher, so I kind of am into this stuff, but we're creating the book. It'll have a lot of coloring for the younger levels, and we're going to have I found some little llama wristbands, so they'll have the wristbands and all. NAMI Piedmont's really into wristbands. We give out, I don't know if you can see them. Well, I'm not being very good with the wristband, but we have our website on it and our saying, never give up hope. We're doing You Are Not Alone for the schools, and we're doing them in school colors. Are there any more questions about that? You can unmute yourself and ask me if you'd like. I don't know if I've told you enough. The llama will also have a green belt with a flashlight on it to shine its light on mental health concerns. And I have a stinky old tennis shoe because stigma stinks, and we're going to stomp out stigma. And with little ones, we'll start with, things that bother them. What do they do about it? What makes them feel bad? What makes them feel good? And if you've been listening to the news reports, they're talking about some sort of testing for anxiety at the elementary age now. So this will probably be able to work with that somewhat.
That's excellent. The youth depression.
And Wakefield School's interested.
That's awesome. That's great. Hopefully we can get some more schools on board soon.
I'd love to.
Yeah. I know most people, dealing with a mental health concern wait 10 years to get help. So really identifying early is going to be a huge prevention measure. So really appreciate all your work with that. And we're excited to see how it plays out. So if there are no other questions for Kathy, I was going to go on to share some other community supports. There is, as Kathy mentioned, there's the provider directory on our website, and I just want to show you all that. Just give me 1 second to pull it up here. Actually, the main thing, first before I do that, I wanted to show the mental health screening through Mental Health America. This is a really easy way to, it asks you some question to kind of gauge how you're feeling and whether you should reach out for help. So like I said, it can be very ambiguous as to when you're just feeling blue or when it's getting more severe and you might need to reach out for help. So I definitely recommend this depression screening test through Mental Health America. And then it says that you do need more support and to reach out to a counselor. I would recommend going to our website, back here. And clicking the Get Help Now. And then, I'm sorry, that's not the link that I was looking for. I'm so sorry. I haven't gone through the website and with these tabs, but the provider directory is very useful for looking for a provider. And you can look by insurance type of provider, whether you want a faith-based counselor or a traditional clinical help, and also by location. So as you can see here, you can look for a therapist, or it tells you the definitions about different providers. So that is a very helpful resource, and I will put the direct link to the provider directory in the chat so you can find that easily. Another resource I wanted to share, someone put in the chat, the C Center. They offer programs and events, like all throughout the day, different support groups for people that are dealing with depression or substance use recovery. They're located in Culpeper, and it's very anonymous and free, and you can pop in there anytime and join a group. And they can also link you to other services through Rappahannock Rappahannock Community Services. Our RCS offers 82 different programs. And so if someone's in a crisis or needs assistance, they're bound to be able to help you with one of their programs. And C Center is a great triage space to get you connected to one of those services. The other community partner that I wanted to highlight is Spirit Works. And we know that a lot of times mental health challenges can overlap with substance use challenges. So if you're looking for a group or a meeting of some sort, you can reach out to Spirit Works and they can connect you with different groups in the area. And there was one more. There's also Heroes Bridge is for aging veterans. And we know that social connection is one of the main preventative factors for mental health concerns. So that's a great community support. And I'm trying to think of one other half of my slides. Let me just pull them up. And the Fauquier Free Clinic. For those who are uninsured, Fauquier Free Clinic does have a mental health clinic. And Shannon is the superstar there, and she can connect you with all sorts of mental health support. And they provide telemental health services, which is very convenient to a lot in our area right now. And then the last one is Aging Together. I know a lot of our aging folks around here are experiencing social isolation. So a lot of programs through Aging Together can help alleviate the depression that comes along with aging. There's also Postpartum Support Virginia for new moms. They offer a ton of groups for different specialties. You can see their website for details, and I'll put that in the chat as well. And then again, NAMI Piedmont, as we heard from Kathy. And I think I'm going to stop talking now. Does anyone have any questions or can share any resources or any little things that they do at home to get through their depression? And thank you, Debbie, for sharing those links.
Hi, my name is Stassi Griffiths. I again apologize. I didn't realize I was unmuted earlier, so I apologize for any background noise. I just wanted to mention Hallmark Youth Care. We are a psychiatric residential treatment facility for youth ages 11 to 17, and we do service youth who have depression. We're located in Richmond, Virginia. We do evidence-based practices, and we also are, we don't technically have to, we're not a long-term, but more of a short-term facility. We do take Medicaid, and we also do take any commercial insurances as well. So I just wanted to share that with you.
What is your full name again? Your ILV facility? I'm writing away here.
Sorry, the facility is called Hallmark Youth Care. And I'm going to put in the chat our website so you can take a look at it. But it's a resource. We service the entire state. We are a Medicaid facility, but like I said, we do take commercial insurance. So we also have a program if a youth is in acute setting and they just need a little bit more time. We do have a program, or they can come in and spend just a little bit more time they need, get the therapies, and then do the discharge planning from there. So it could range from 30, 45 days to 90 days.
I'm often called and asked for resources, so that'll be good to have to know. Thank you.
Yes, and I'd love to actually add that to our provider directory. If you can add that to the chat, we can, refer people there as well. Thank you so much.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And again, I apologize for the
Oh,
noise.
no
I had a
problem.
question.
Yes.
How's everybody? Hey, are there any of these markers or recognition markers or treatments or self-applied helps that apply to specific roles, job roles, like being a air traffic controller or a pastor or being a teacher that is available to help in a specific line of life rather than just general depression? We know that there's been historical data that says people in pastoral positions are going to experience this. Here's some keys that can help you identify if you're depressed and need more than just prayer, or here's a teacher or here's a coach. Does that make sense? What I'm asking?
Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually, the Mental Health Association, we're big on mental health first aid, but there's also another component. It's called spiritual first aid, and it's actually specifically designed for pastors. And we're actually looking to roll that out. We need a cohort of like 16 people. So we also convene, Pastor Holland, I know you know all this, but for others who are on here, we also convene a faith community conversations group, and we're going to be talking more about that. Our next meeting is on Thursday, so if anyone's interested in that, they can reach out and I'll get them connected. But yes, I think there's different components of mental health first aid as well. Like there's ones for first responders, there's spiritual first aid for pastors. Workplace mental health is kind of a new horizon. People are kind of exploring and really recognizing now. And so hopefully there will be more coming out for different professions as well. But that's a great question.
I'm not sure if NAMI has any directly for professions. I do know they have some faith-based groups, but I'll look into that for you too. And all.
Yes. And NAMI also has their FaithNet, which is
That's what it is, FaithNet. Yeah.
there are different articles and blog posts about the importance of having faith combined with mental health and really valuing both components to life.
And if you get on NAMI.org, you could find out more about FaithNet.
Any other questions?
We have a shy group today.
Yeah. Well, again, I want to thank everybody for their time, devoting it to depression awareness, and hopefully you leave today with a little bit more understanding of depression as a medical condition and some of the issues around the stigma. And I also want to give a huge thanks to Kate Gardner for sharing her story. We really appreciate that. And I know that was hard and very courageous, and we all learn when others share their story. So, and also we want to thank Kathy Weigel for sharing all the information about NAMI Piedmont, and be sure to log on to that site and see all the different resources available. And you can reach out to me at the Mental Health Association with any other questions about the provider directory, to add to the provider directory, or for referrals and any other community supports that you might be interested in. And I'll put my email address in the chat. And Kathy, do you have any closing words?
Just check out our email, and thank you for coming today. And thank you, Bridget, for having NAMI Piedmont join the Mental Health Association in this endeavor.
Yes, great to work with you. All right, well, thank you all for coming, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Remember to practice self-care, and take care of yourselves. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.